This is sketchy. We got to go get the evidence. We go find those cameras, the stores, the ATMs, the banks. We got the experts to challenge their breath tests, their blood tests. My office has over 100 years experience at this stuff. Hit me up at beattheda.com or 720-706-5151.
Is your financial advisor managing your risk or just a spreadsheet? Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. Many financial advisors rely on target date funds, which are one-size-fits-all portfolios that don't know your name, your family, or your goals. And that passive management can leave you dangerously exposed. At Trajan, we look at the whole picture, not just the stocks everyone else buys, but the private market opportunities most advisors ignore. And as fiduciaries, we build a strategy around you, coordinating your investments, tax strategy, and estate into one cohesive plan. Your financial life deserves more than just a generic portfolio. Real planning isn't a stack of statements. It's the confidence of knowing where your income will come from for the next 30 years. Good enough isn't good enough for your family. It's time for a change. Schedule your complimentary consultation today. Call 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Private equity investments require accreditation. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
If you're stuck in rush hour traffic, you have options. Contact Arby's, and Arby's today to get $1 fries and sliders between 2 and 6 p.m. Get $1 fries and sliders between 2 and 6 p.m. with any regularly priced food item only at participating Arby's.
Arby's, we have the meat.
Gebhardt BMW, your trusted family dealership since 1975 in Boulder, has a championship-level lineup ready for you to test drive and take home today. They currently have specials on both the BMW X3 and X5 models. The BMW X3 model is a luxury compact SUV that offers balanced handling and a powertrain variety. The BMW X5 model is a high-performance powerhouse luxury model that offers you a thrilling driving experience. They also have a great pre-owned BMW lineup as well. Schedule your test drive today. Go to GebhardtBMW.com.
Gebhardt BMW, your trusted family dealership since 1975.
Hi, Dan Cicchini, Done Right Home Improvements. For an 8% scheduling incentive and a special financing rate of 0% APR with 72 equal monthly payments, go to drhi.com. Kitchens, baths, counters, and floors. Finished basements, windows, and doors. You have our word, we'll treat you right at Done Right.
In Colorado, relationships matter. That's why contractors across the Front Range choose Western Pacific for doors and millwork. 35 years of quality products, next-day delivery, and fast will call service. Visit GoWestPack.com. Western Pacific, local ownership, professional expertise.
Anything that distracts you while driving is dangerous. Driving while texting can be deadly. So put it down, it can wait. Shift into safe. Don't drive distracted. A message from the Colorado Department of Transportation.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver.
Powered by Regen RX. It's The Drive with Zach By and Philip Lindsay. Welcome to Denver Sports Tonight. Taking a look at the biggest stories in Denver sports. From your online home for the best opinions and information on the Broncos, Nuggets, Avalanche, Rockies, and more. DenverSports.com.
And with that, we welcome you into Denver Sports Tonight. Marcelo Romano and Dante Gomez. The Mez take you for the next hour here on the slowest day in professional sports, Dante. Doesn't feel like it. I know. Well, we kind of lucked out a little bit with the World Cup game today, but this will be my third annual DST on the slowest day in sports. Calling the big dogs.
I don't know if that's a compliment or a slap in the face.
And I didn't check this. I should have checked this first, but is the WNBA participating in any games today, or is it full blank calendar slate for professional sports?
I will get back to you very shortly. Well, we do have the Summer League.
That's still happening.
That is professional sports.
Yeah, which we saw Trevin Brazil kind of go nuts a little bit last night, which was encouraging.
There is WNBA games.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's helpful. Normally, traditionally, it was always like, this is the day. Like the ESPYs are on tonight, and a lot of list radio is happening as, you're kind of in the doldrums of summer as the NBA champions have been crowned, Stanley Cup champions have been crowned, and we're in the off seasons of both of those sports, and we're prepping for the Denver Broncos. So here's what I want. You guys can get involved on the ramoslaw.com text line 303-713-1043 or participate in the YouTube chat powered by Champ Honda. is I like sports movies, all right? So the All-Star game was last night. The Home Run Derby was on Monday night. I'm going to get your thoughts on both of those real quick here in a sec, Dante, because I know you are a baseball guy. You have that baseball pedigree. But last night during the game, I don't know, did you see when the kids rode out on their bikes with their gloves on their handlebars? And it just took me back because I didn't – like The Sandlot's one of the best sports movies of all time because we grew up doing that. We would call our buddies – on a landline and be like, hey, dude, meet at Castle North Park in a half hour. And we'd all roll up the same way that the kids rolled out last night during the All-Star game with their gloves over their, like kind of over their handlebars so that they could ride their bikes to the park wherever they're going to play. And then you'd essentially play a pickup game of baseball, which you don't see anymore nowadays. I think it's kind of sad. I mean, you see a lot of wiffle ball, maybe some home run derbies with wiffle ball, but that kind of it brought me back a little bit. It was a nostalgic moment. But then last night when I was going to bed, my wife put on Field of Dreams to cap off like.
So you're just getting all the feels.
The perfect baseball night where you see that during the game with the kids riding out, and then as I'm laying down, it's Ray Kinsella. If you build it, he will come. That movie is one of the best sports movies of all time. So I want to throw that out to anyone out. If you're driving home after a long day's work, give me some of the best sports movie. If I had to put that one in there, that's definitely top 5 for me. But being an Italian guy, I don't know that you can beat Rocky 3. I mean, that's like my answer. If I need inspiration, I watch that because it's a sports movie. It's a boxing movie. It's fictional, but to me, it's almost reality. What's yours, Dante?
Oh, I'd have to think about it a little bit more. I definitely like the movies you mentioned. The Sandlot's a classic. Field of Dreams as well. It's a little slow, and I was a kid when I first watched it. I've watched it since, and I definitely like it more now. I don't know if this counts. Cars? I feel like that's a sports movie.
Because of race.
Yeah, it's about racing.
I would have never put that in the list, but I think
Cars is a great movie. I'm sure you've watched it with your kids.
Oh, yeah, I've seen all of them. I would have never put it in that category, but now that you brought it up, I just take a half second to think about it and like, yeah, dude, Lightning McQueen, ka-chow.
Ka-chow. I think I can't remember the exact name of it. I think it's called Fighter. It's like a UFC tournament, and it's his brothers on the other side.
It's with
Bane. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, Christian Bale.
Not Christian Bale.
Oh, who the hell is in that movie?
The guy that plays Bane. His traps are ridiculous in the movie. And I might be thinking of the wrong name.
Tom Hardy.
Yes, Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy, yes. And he has to end up fighting his brother, right, for the championship or something?
You know what? The Fighter is the Christian Bale movie. I'm thinking of a different movie. Yes, but the movie
Fighter
you're talking
is like,
about.
the Mickey, is that the Mickey Rourke story?
I think it is. But
Him
yes.
and Arturo Gatti. Yeah, like the trilogy that those two had.
But yes, I was talking about the movie you're talking about where he ends up fighting his brother by the end of it with Tom Hardy.
Yeah. I know that one for sure. I don't know if you'd put Karate Kid on the list. Obviously, we want you guys to participate because there's a couple that are just slam dunks, like Miracle. Can you beat
Warrior
Miracle?
is the one I was thinking of.
There you go. Just had me thrown off a bit because weirdly enough, Christian Bale was in The Dark Knight with Tom Hardy when he did play Bane. But yeah, The Fighter's a great one. As Mark Wahlberg, and dude, that was a phenomenal one. I'm trying to think of other like sports movies that actually hit. Like Any Given Sunday is probably not on that list. I mean, it might be a cult classic at this point, but give us your suggestions on the.
Oh, we forgot one of the better ones, Moneyball.
Oh, dude.
I'm looking at lists at this point for some inspiration, but yeah, Moneyball was so good.
I quote that movie probably every day. There's so many good ones in there. So get involved with the show, ramoslaw.com text line. Give us your best sports movies as we are on this slowest day of sports, and we will spend plenty of time talking about lists where the Broncos are falling on these lists that are being, slowly released day by day, especially when it comes to the NFL. And we'll get into the Nuggets, where they find themselves, and then give me your thoughts on the All-Star game, bud. Did you enjoy the All-Star game, even though all the action was in the first inning? I was sitting at a restaurant with my wife last night during the top of the first, and when Bellinger hit that ball, I'm like, he's going to win the MVP.
Wow, you knew it right then?
I was like, he's got a great chance to, because typically in the All-Star games, and Zach did a great job last night of kind of like painting the picture of the pitching is so dominant early in those games that you can take a waiver on somebody late in the game to be the MVP, because then you're getting out of that starting pitching and guys are only going 1 inning. But for the American League to put up 3 in the first, you do not see crooked numbers in an all-star game that early.
No, typically not. And shout out my guy Belly. He's a Phoenix kid, Phoenix Valley guy. So
and a Yank.
And a Yankee. So he's, we can we'll do like the little handshake, me and you both rooting for Cody Bellinger. But I actually didn't watch too much of it. I was finishing up work here during the first inning, so I definitely caught that part of it. But I did not watch when I got home. It's just it's definitely better than any other all-star game in sports, but it's still one of those where it doesn't totally catch my interest at this point. I think there's just so much else, movies, TV shows, that I'd rather spend my time watching when I get home.
What did you watch then last night?
What did I've been running through Game of Thrones. So I think I watched
your first time watching?
Second.
Okay.
Which I have to say, the second time watching through is so much better than the first time, because the first time you're just so confused throughout the entire series, and now that I know the basics of what's going to happen, I get to focus in on all the small details in there. So I probably watched like an episode and a half of Game of Thrones last night.
On the RamosLaw.com text line, I want to pay these off as fast as they're coming in, but Caddyshack, Mighty Ducks, The Natural, The Program. Program's great. Have you seen The Program, Dante?
I have not. What is that?
It's like a college football movie. It's basically, they do like a parody basically of like Florida State, I think, in it, but it involves like all the stuff that goes into college football, college athletics. Back in the early 90s, steroids were involved in it. It's a great movie as well. Another one for Caddyshack, and then Natural and Sandlot. Where does Sandlot rank?
It's in my top 5.
It's got to be, doesn't it?
Well, I don't think it has to be, but it's definitely in mine.
Well, if you have any kind of tie to baseball at all, listen, the storyline, the plot it changes from baseball, but it's crafted around the game of baseball. So that's the reason I'm asking the question. We also got a few more for the program. Hoosiers. Dang, dude, this is just for love of the game. Baseball movie. Which sport is the best for a movie?
I'm biased, and I think you'll agree with this, but I think it's baseball.
And, dude, Hollywood lucked out with Kevin Costner.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Because a lot of times these guys, listen, I understand people being like method actors, like, oh, I'm going to go to prison to see what it was really like for this guy before I play this role. When anyone's cast in a sports movie, no one goes method. You should go hang out and learn how to throw a baseball, throw a football, whatever it may be, but it doesn't.
That's always some of my favorite stuff is when they have the sports scene and the athletes are just so bad, or the actors are so bad when they go to throw something or catch or whatever, a golf swing, whatever it is. That's one of the funnier things you can see in films, though.
Yeah, like who is it? Jerry McConnell when he plays the dude in Jerry Maguire. And he's supposed to be the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft, and he's a quarterback. And they have very few scenes with him actually throwing or chucking the rock, and there's a reason for that. This is Cush, that guy. Like you can't throw a football; it's not very believable. So thank God for Kevin Costner, because that dude played, and it looks like he played. Like it's believable when he's out there. The end of Field of Dreams is one of those ones that it just catches you, man. When you were younger, did you say have a catch? Or
no,
did you want to
I
say
was a play catch.
Really? I'm a have a catch guy.
I like saying it now, but it's more out of irony. I don't truthfully. That's not in my lexicon.
Yeah, that's that one that and people are always like, why do they say that? Because that's the way we did it back in the day, man.
A couple other good baseball ones on the text line here. The RamosLaw.com text line. Bull Durham and what was the other one? Major League.
Yes. Then we nailed it. It's baseball. It's the best one. What's second then? Football's tough.
Football is very hard to make a good movie with.
It's been very tough for that. We got a couple for Necessary Roughness. There was one Any Given Sunday. Like the texts are flying in right now for the best sports movies of all time. Dante and I have decided that baseball is the best genre that you can make a sports movie with, or best sport that you can make a sports movie with. But keep them coming as you will. I do want to get into a couple of the lists that have broken recently, Dante, and I also want to get into Colin Cowherd's comments recently about, well, we saw on the top 100 list, Lamar Jackson fell from 2 number 2 last year, all the way down to 69. And keep in mind, this is player voted. These are your peers that saw what you did last year and said, dude, we thought you were another MVP candidate 12 months ago. Right now, you're not even in the top half, which I think is interesting. But anyways, Colin Cowherd went on his show and was talking about the fall that Lamar Jackson has seen. But he also said if it's late in the game in a fourth quarter comeback, that I would rather have Bo Nix as my quarterback than Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. We have the audio on the iPad
okay.
if you want to play it just so the listeners have a good idea of what we're talking about here.
All right, I won't paraphrase anymore. Here's exactly what Colin Cowherd had to say.
Take Bo Nix today in a fourth quarter come-from-behind situation. Bo Nix over Lamar Jackson. Why? Because the analytics and data tell you he's better. I watched Bo Nix go toe-to-toe with Josh Allen in a division round playoff game with a broken ankle. A kid against the best player in the league.
I don't know, man. Like, it's the cool thing is, and Will and I discussed this today on Freshly Graded, is one, I don't necessarily agree with him because there's longevity, there's experience. You're talking about a 2-time MVP in Lamar Jackson, although we haven't seen a ton of postseason success. And whenever kind of fronted with that opportunity or that scenario or challenge, Bo Nix has rose to the occasion time after time. We saw it last year with 11 one-score wins. And then, of course, coming back in the overtime to beat Buffalo in the divisional round, only to unfortunately break his ankle and not be able to participate in the AFC Championship game. I don't know that I give him that edge. I'd probably give a slight lean to Lamar Jackson still, but it's in the – if your quarterback's in that conversation, just from what we know and the experiences we have as football fans in the state of Colorado and most notably here in Denver, is you want to have that guy. We had that guy with John Elway for years. We had that guy for a short term with Jake Plummer. And then even with Peyton Manning, like, dude, you're down 24-0 at halftime in San Diego on a Monday night and came back and won the football game. So just to be included in the conversation, I think is a tip of the cap.
Yeah, it's a great point. And I think Colin Cowherd was more getting to the point of the clutch factor that Bo Nix has. And
yeah.
We saw that on full display last year. And the drive kind of got into it with Zach and Phil there, but Lamar Jackson has really shrunk in the biggest games. We saw it in the AFC Championship 2024. He had a great chance to go to the Super Bowl, hosting the AFC Championship. Great defense. He won the MVP that year and comes up short, scores 10 points against Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs obviously go on to the Super Bowl there. So it feels like Bo Nix is that playoff riser, that fourth quarter riser from what we've seen so far. And I don't think you can give that same label to Lamar Jackson at this point. I still think Lamar Jackson has more in store for his career here. I don't think it's over for him by any means.
Does he win a championship?
I don't think so.
You think it's over?
As far as winning a championship, yes.
Yeah.
I think he's getting to the point where his best days are probably behind him. I still think he has a couple years where he could be that top 5 quarterback, but it is so hard to win a Super Bowl. And he has a new head coach, which obviously helps in terms of it was a little bit of a stale operation there in Baltimore. And John Harbaugh is a great coach, obviously Super Bowl winning head coach, but a new voice can definitely help reignite that spark in an organization. So maybe that's what happens in Baltimore this year, but it just feels like he gets banged up too often. I mean, I saw a stat last year that he didn't practice. I want to say it was on like Wednesday for like 10 straight weeks because he was hurt or he was sick or whatever it was. Something kept coming up. So it just feels like at this point he's a little unreliable.
I'll be interested to see kind of where Pat Mahomes falls on the list and then kind of juxtapose the two because Pat Mahomes for the past, 2-3 years, his production level has decreased. It hasn't been the same as when he kind of broke onto the scene and took the NFL kind of by storm, the way that the NFL was, or the NFL landscape was at that time. But these, I keep going back to these are your peers. Like maybe if I saw Pat Mahomes fall at like, gosh, dude, what would be a low number for Patrick Mahomes, even coming off an
40s,
injury,
50s
in a down year? Like I would even say like 35 would be the highest that I would put him at that number. It's just that type of talent is. You can't really measure it, so it was very interesting to see Lamar Jackson fall to where he did. You don't think he wins a championship. I think this type of news for a guy like Lamar Jackson is only fuel to the fire. So if I'm in that division or I'm in the AFC, which the Broncos find themselves, I watch out for Lamar Jackson, especially this year, because You could get all the different reports about him and John Harbaugh, battling last year, not seeing eye to eye, and questioning his commitment level, and then the injuries get thrown in. But when it's your peers telling you that, dude, you're not even the top half of the league anymore 1 year after being number 2 on that list, I think that's an astounding number or astounding drop from where he found himself last year. You say no championship. I'm still reserved on that. I think he may get one. What about Josh Allen?
Yeah. Well, I thought the options were yes or no for Lamar Jackson. I still think he has a chance at getting one, but I think it's unlikely.
Okay. All right, so then I'll say yes, he does.
Okay.
If we want to just paint it black and white like that, then yes, I think he still wins. What about Josh Allen?
I think Josh Allen gets one.
Joe Burrow?
I don't think Joe Burrow does, or at least not in Cincinnati. Maybe he pulls the Matthew Stafford and he's with a bad organization for the first 10 years of his career, and then he goes to one of the better organizations in the NFL currently in Los Angeles. So maybe something like that happens where he ends up in a different situation. But in Cincinnati, I don't think he's winning one.
Bo Nix?
I think he does.
I think
as
so
long as
too.
he stays healthy, at least.
Yeah, for sure. And how about Matthew Stafford on the back end?
I think he gets one. I think he wins it this year. I think they should have won it last year. I was a big proponent
100%
that they were the best team in football last year, and they got screwed. They should have been hosting the NFC Championship if that call doesn't, that wonky
Thursday
call
night,
on Thursday Night Football, that the 2-point conversion goes off the helmet, looks like it's incomplete. Seattle dives on it in the end zone, they get the 2-point conversion and win that game. If Seattle doesn't win that game, the NFC Championship's in SoFi in LA instead of up in Seattle, and obviously home field advantage is huge in the playoffs. So I think LA would have won that game, and then they would have beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl as well.
And the last one I'll ask you about is Pat Mahomes. Does he keep adding to his trophy case?
That's a tough one. I think he gets one more, but it's not. It's one of those almost John Elway-esque, where it's a reinvented version of himself, reinvented version of the team, and it's not as Patrick Mahomes centric when they go out and win it. And towards the end of his career, that's a good question. I actually asked Zach a similar question, Zach and Phil, the other day. It's if starting at this point in 2026, who wins more Super Bowls, Bo Nix or Patrick Mahomes?
That's a kind of an interesting one. You know, I mean, national. And here's my next question that I wanted to ask you, because I think you're starting to see the tide shift a little bit. For a large part of the offseason, I felt like the Broncos weren't getting nationally, not locally by any means, because I think locally a lot of people here believe that they are a Super Bowl contender and will be for the next couple years. But nationally, I mean, like, look at Super Bowl odds. I think they had the 12th best odds to win a Super Bowl, so they fell down after going 14-3 and getting all the way to the AFC Championship game last year. There wasn't a lot of belief, but it seems like in these last 2 weeks with some of these lists, now you could, I know you could point to a certain list and be like, oh, they're not getting respect there, but other lists they are. Like, for example, like the wide receiver duo list, like Jalen Waddle and Cortland Sutton are on that. But best quarterback wide receiver combo, Bo Nix isn't anywhere to be found. We got the top 10 quarterbacks by position on Monday morning, and Bo Nix found himself at like 18. So it's like this interesting dichotomy of like, what do you really believe is going to happen with this team, and how much of a growth are you going to see? And to Mike Evans' point in his promo, is the game starting to slow down for him. The third year of a quarterback within a system, they really start to get the rhythm, everything, understanding how whoever's calling the plays is the architect behind it and what they're trying to accomplish. That continuity means something, so it'll be interesting, especially with these first 6 games that they have on their schedule.
I'm expecting a big year from Bo Nix, and I know a lot of people around here were a little miffed that Drake May's been in the MVP conversation last year, considered one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL, and Bo Nix was kind of left behind in that conversation. I think all of that changes this year. I think Drake May still has a solid year again, but I think Bo Nix is going to win a lot of games, and it's not that the Broncos are going to win a lot of games. It's that Bo Nix is going to be the reason that they're winning these games, and I know he was last year, but there's a lot of fourth-quarter comebacks, a lot of theatrics with it. I think he has a more dominant season from start to end.
I don't think that perspective is very misplaced. I think if you really broke it down, like the strength of this team, especially over the past couple seasons, has been their defense. And offensively, it's been very clunky at points. You know, early in games, before you had to have late heroics to win games. You only have maybe 4 examples of the Broncos kind of just dominating games start to finish. And there's not many of them. One of
It
them
was against bad opponents for the most part. The Cincinnati Bengals game, I remember.
Yeah, when you have Browning as their starting quarterback on a Monday night, and that game even kind of started a little bit slow. But the biggest, dominant victory they had last year had to be against the Cowboys, right?
Yeah, that was a good win for them.
Start to finish.
But again, that was a beat-up Cowboys team by then, too. That weren't going anywhere.
Yeah. I think the Green Bay game was probably their most substantial win until they got to the postseason. To be able to knock off Josh Allen, chasing a championship, where it looked like the story was written for him to win last year, and the Broncos to kind of squelch that, it was just so unfortunate that Bo Nix goes down and you don't get to see your full level of ammo when you got to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, I would have loved to see Bo Nix healthy in that AFC Championship game. I'm not saying 100% the Broncos win that game, but I would go to 70% that the Broncos are going to win that game with Bo Nix at the helm. And it would have been great to see him on the national stage of the Super Bowl taking on that vaunted Seahawks defense. I would have loved to see how that works, just because that Seahawks defense was really good last year, but Bo Nix found a way in a lot of these games to make plays when everything was broken down and go out there and be that a little bit of off-schedule quarterback. I just would have really liked to see what he could have done against that Seahawks defense.
All right, a couple days ago, they're slowly kind of filtering out the top 100 list voted on by their peers or players in the league, and we already mentioned that Lamar Jackson fell at 69. One place ahead of him is Courtland Sutton, which I don't know that a lot of people in Denver thought he was going to land on that top 100 list. I was one of the few because it is player voted. And for whatever reason, when it mattered, listen, locally we're going to break down the drops or the little things that he didn't perform well in, but nationally, or if you're playing against the guy, whenever a play needed to be made, Courtland Sutton was there to make. It was a bit of a whoopee for Bo Nix, and that's massive, a massive turnaround, Dante, because you remember after Russell Wilson left, the tweet that he put out where it's like the Fresh Prince, in West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground. It's where I spent most of he was sitting in a room by himself like, oh, my best friend's gone. How am I going to turn this around? We all thought that Courtland Sutton was no longer going to play as a Denver Bronco. He's not only fixed that, and I credit Sean Payton a ton for this, but to turn that perspective around and say, hey, I found my quarterback, because he went through a lot of low times and many different quarterbacks. He's got a guy that he's clicked with, and not that he didn't really with Russell, but so much more with Bo Nix, and there's a future and a bright future and championship contention in the future.
Yeah, he was really the bridge from the old regime to the new regime here in Sean Payton. So I think he's been that reliable guy, go-to guy for Bo Nix, especially 2 years ago, leading the league on 3rd down and 4th down. So just one of those guys that you can trust when he's out there. I think there's still a little bit of a higher ceiling that people are looking for, and maybe that's why people within Denver are so critical of Courtland Sutton. I was a little surprised to see him that high on the list, honestly, just because it feels like he is somewhat forgotten in the national conversation. I talked to my friends from high school about, fantasy football and whatnot, and Courtland Sutton's not really a name that comes up too often. But yeah, he's been great for this team, and I think the infusion of Jalen Waddle is only going to make Courtland Sutton better in terms of not being the
guy you can focus on.
Yes, the defense isn't going to be able to just be like, all right, as long as we stop Sutton, we're going to be good. Troy Franklin had a good year, but I don't think defenses were too concerned with Franklin or Pat Bryant in last year. So I really think that Jalen Waddle is going to open up a whole lot for Courtland Sutton this year.
All right, we got to get to a quick break, and we appreciate all the texts flying in as far as best sports movies. Keep those coming. We'll hit a bunch of those on the other side, but we will also get into the Denver Nuggets and where they find themselves in this new NBA landscape. Plus, the second semifinal of the World Cup happened today. Dante and I discuss all of that coming up next.
Bo Nix led the league in game-winning drives, took Denver to the AFC Championship. Let's go, Bo Nix! And that was year 2. Let's go, Bo Nix! Now he's fully healthy. Jalen Waddle is in the building, and the same O-line is back for a third straight year. So what's the one thing everyone's going to notice the moment training camp opens?
Here's the biggest thing I think people are going to notice right away as we get into training camp and on into the preseason. You're going to hear this phrase a lot. Get ready for it. You ready? Here's the line.
All right, give it to me.
It looks like the game's slowing down for him.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Guys, are you looking for a simple solution to hair loss this summer? Get Advanced Hair's breakthrough one-day treatment during their once-yearly summer savings event. Your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day, and Advanced Hair guarantees it will grow. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar during Advanced Hair's best offer ever. For details and a free consultation, call 720-459-HAIR or at advancedhair.com.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy. Pretty much hands off, They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Dental phobia? Consider Sedation Dentistry with Clarkson Dental. Their highly trained team will lead you through an exceptional dental experience from that first fearful call all the way through to aftercare. Call the most experienced sedation dentist and staff. Clarkson Dental, ColoradoSedation.com.
Don't care for my local hometown team, ROX rocks heating and air. Don't get fooled by out-of-state private equity corporations that are buying local HVAC companies, offering higher prices, bad service, and shady sales tactics. Don't trust your home to someone out of state when you have the best company right here in town. ROX are experts in local energy rebates and tax credits to save you money only at ROX rocks heating and air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX rocks heating and air.
This feeling is brought to you by Aleve for Arthritis Pain Relief. What feeling is that? Well, it's the feeling you feel when you have relief from arthritis pain. It's that my hands don't hurt just holding things feeling. That wow, I can actually move well feeling. That go about your day without worrying about every little movement or ache feeling. Oh yeah, because Aleve targets arthritis pain at the source of inflammation for long-lasting relief, so you can keep moving through it. Feel up to 12 hours of arthritis pain relief with 1 dose. Feel Aleve. Use is directed for minor arthritis pain.
Back to school starts now. Get long-lasting battery life on the Dell XPS laptop powered by Series 3 Intel Core so you can work from anywhere. Now starting at $699 with exclusive student pricing starting at $599. Complete your setup with savings on select monitors and must-have electronics and accessories. Limited time deals and free shipping on PCs and more await you at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
I'm Rob Wilhite. For almost 50 years, Colorado has trusted the Wilhite Law Firm after serious car accidents. With over $1 billion recovered, we know how to win for our community. Injured? Call 303-GOOD-LAW or visit WilhiteWins.com. That's WilhiteWins.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
The sounds of summer. They're great until they're not. Luckily, AutoZone has free battery testing and charging.
Let me check that for you.
To help make a rough moment smooth. Don't miss the Celebrate Free event at AutoZone. Free products with select deals until July 27th. and free services every day. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Philip Lindsay here. Summer is about hikes, golf, family adventures, and more. But if degenerative joints or old high school sports injuries are slowing you down, Regen RX can help you out with that. Get 50% off your first shockwave therapy treatment in July. This non-invasive treatment helps stimulate healing and reduce chronic pain with no surgery and no downtime. Plus, ask about their stem cell or PRP options. Book your free consultation today. Give them a call at 303-630-9770 or visit them online at regenrx.co. Again, that's regenrx.co.
It's Denver Sports Tonight on Denver Sports.
At a park and playing a little pickup baseball, which doesn't happen these days. And then to end the night, I'm getting ready for bed. My wife throws on TV and Field of Dreams is on. So it got me to wondering, what are the best sports movies of all times? I got a laundry list of them on the text line, and you can keep sending them in. The RamosLaw.com text line is 303-713-1043, and we'll go over a bunch of those. But Dante brought up kind of an outsider, and he said Cars. And when he initially said it, I kind of scoffed at him, like, Cars? Like the cartoon, the Disney movie? But when you think about it, it's a sports racing movie. It's a race car movie. And that alluded to one of our special people here in the fire starter kind of firing off a text to both of us.
Yeah, I got a text here from our guy, James Marilat. Cars, ? WTF, ? I don't know what that means, but it didn't feel like he was a big fan of Cars.
No, not at all.
I don't know how you don't like Cars. I think it's a great movie. It's obviously more of a kid's movie, but I'm not going to stand for the slander that it's not a good, at least not a good movie, but I'll hear the argument that it's not a sports movie, maybe. I also did want to shout out a couple on the text line here. Caddyshack, Longest Yard, a little bit more of comedy movies, but definitely incorporates sports as well.
Yeah, we got just recently Draft Day. That's another Costner one. We said Hollywood should be thankful for Kevin Costner because he can make a sports movie like no one else. I've always kind of thought that they should make a different category for the Academy Awards, and you need to have a comedy wing, and you need to also have like a sports movie wing. That doesn't mean that they have to be constantly made. There might be some years where you don't have any nominees in those genres, but comedies are like that's. Do you think it's harder to play, like somebody coming out of prison, maybe a drug addict or whatever, or to make millions and millions of people laugh?
I think both are equally important, and I'm with you. That's why it deserves its own category. I think it has somewhat of its own category, but not fully isolated. Someone else texted in Rocky. I have a take. Rocky stinks. The first movie.
You're going to go on verbal timeout if you continue.
Really? Oh, well, first of all, I control the mic, so I don't think you can do that. But no, Rocky, I watched it for the first time like a year ago. I was so bored. It was
the first one is a bit slow, but that's also the one that won the Academy Award. And another reason we're having this discussion today is because the trailer for the biopic about Sylvester Stallone saying and keeping his script. Like many people wanted to buy it, but they just didn't want him to play Rocky. And his whole thing was like, I have to play Rocky. There's a new movie coming out that kind of illustrates what he all went through to actually make that movie and for him to be the lead in it as well. So I would agree with you on this front. Of all the Rockies, I'm not a super fan of 1 or 2.
Well, maybe they should have put the better ones earlier because I didn't
3
even
for
make
me
it
is
to 2, 3, or 4 because 1 was that bad.
3 for me. If you're in the dumps and you need a little inspiration, you put on Rocky 3, and if you're not motivated after that movie, I don't know what else is going to get you going. We also have Tin Cup, Days of Thunder. To your point about race car driving movies, I don't know if you've seen that one, but Tom Cruise's Cole Trickle. That's another great sports movie.
One that came out pretty recently, F1. I like that one. I saw that about a year ago as well. I don't think it's as good as some of the other ones we've been bringing up, but definitely worth watching.
That was in the Academy Awards discussions this past year.
I think it might have gotten nominated for
maybe Best Picture, I think. It didn't win, but it was in that discussion for sure. All right, keep those coming on the RamosLaw.com text line. We'll keep reading them as they fly in. I do want to get to where the Nuggets find themselves in this offseason, Dante, and it has been super underwhelming as far as the way the season ended, what you had, and maybe some of the discussions that you were involved in, whether it be the Jaylen Brown sweepstakes. We know what happened there. He's a Sixer now. And Jamal Murray wasn't included in any kind of trade proposal. And then you have the LeBron James sweepstakes, where at one point it was like, this could be a reality. Since then, it has dwindled precipitously, and the Nuggets aren't even mentioned in Shams Charanya's reports anymore of possible landing destinations for LeBron James. I don't know where the Nuggets go from here, dude. And the flexibility, they don't have a ton of it. And the more and more days go by, listen, I think it was very calculated for Nikola Jokic and his team to release the Mark Stein report right before free agency saying, I'm thinking about not signing it. Well, 10 days didn't even go by, and we found out that he's just not going to sign it. So the reality of going forward as a Nuggets fan, knowing that there is a possibility now, a distinct possibility, that he could pull a Giannis and be like, if you guys aren't going to do enough for me, I'm trying to win championships, and in this offseason, the way that if you look at Nikola Jokic and the way that he's approached this offseason, one, with the shape that he's in, two, deciding to play for Team Serbia, and then this news of late, like, you got to be doing something as an organization. Like, you don't have enough to run it back. I'm sorry, even if you stay healthy, you're not on that level anymore. So I thought a shakeup was required. And I'm a Jamal Murray guy. Like, I don't want to see him leave. But if that would have included him, I think I would have been okay with it. Sad at the moment, but the future would have looked a little bit brighter to me. Am I off?
You're not off in general. I do think this team, if everything goes right health-wise, can compete at the highest level. But, I mean, at this point, it doesn't feel like it's injury luck. It feels like it's injury destiny in terms of Aaron Gordon and not being able to play in the playoffs. And it's sad to say, because I'm a big Aaron Gordon guy. I'm from Arizona. I saw him play down in Tucson. He's been the heart and soul of this Nuggets team for the last handful of years. He plays the game the right way. So I'm hoping he's able to stay healthy for an entire year and an entire playoff run, but it just feels very unlikely at this point. So I think if everything goes right, I think they do have a chance to compete at the highest level with teams like the Spurs, with like the Minnesota Timberwolves, with the Oklahoma City Thunders of the world, but it just feels like that's inevitably not going to happen. I was not encouraged by their offseason moves. They signed Tyus Jones back. They signed Marvin Bagley, Alpha Diallo, the EuroLeague Defensive Player of the Year. None of those moves, to me, are going to impact this playoff team too much. Marvin Bagley maybe a little bit, but I don't think Diallo's finding himself on the court very much in a healthy Nuggets rotation. He's not going to be in your rotation. Same with Tyus Jones probably, and if he is in your rotation, it's probably not a great sign. He had a great playoff game there in the series towards the end of the series against the Timberwolves, but he's also a negative on defense with this team already struggles on defense. So it just feels like it was a very uninspiring offseason. If it ends up being the run it back Nuggets, I just hope that their injury luck is a little bit better than what we've seen.
Even like more to figure out. You got to figure out what's going to happen with the Payton Watson deal. You did have the two additions on draft night in Trevin Brazile and Hopkins, and Brazile had a phenomenal game last night, which is great for Summer League. And I'm not going to try to discredit him, but it is the Summer League. You know, it's like, there's things that we saw last night out of that player that I didn't think we were going to see, because when Brazile was drafted, he's a high flyer. He's big around the rim. He'll help you rebounding. He'll put up some big-time highlight plays as far as dunks are concerned. But he was 6 of 12 from beyond the arc last night. Like, if you can find yourself a little niche, you're not going to score 32 in a regular season game, but if you can spread the floor a little bit, then you're going to help your team. But it's still, like, as much as I'm trying to convince myself of it, you could win 54 games again, and you could probably also get bounced after the first round, and then what's the future of Nikola Jokic at that point? Because if he sees that the future is like, we're just going to keep running on this treadmill and not get to a destination, I'm off of it, dude.
Yeah, and you mentioned that he could pull a Giannis and not want to come back here to Denver. I actually think this would be even worse. At least the Bucks were able to recoup assets for Giannis when they're trading him away. Jokic, if he wants to, could walk away from the Nuggets altogether next offseason and be an unrestricted free agent. And that's worst case scenario for this Nuggets organization. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but the fact that there's even a percentage chance of it happening should have Nuggets Nation worried.
All right, we get to a quick break, but coming up next, the World Cup final is set for Sunday. We will discuss that, but we'll also get into, we have 2 Broncos on the top 100 list. Who else do we expect to see in the remaining count of that top 100 list? Dante and I get into that next.
They're back. Our free limited edition Training Camp 2026 t-shirts. We'll have 5 drops this year at various Santiago's Mexican restaurants across the metro area starting July 16th. Limit 1 per person while supplies last. For more details and to find the location nearest you, head to DenverSports.com/shirt.
Most families get their financial advice in pieces. A financial advisor here, a CPA there, and a state attorney somewhere else. Everyone means well, but nobody's talking to each other, and those gaps can work against you. Trajan Wealth's family office brings wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning together, not as separate conversations, but as one coordinated system built around your life, your goals, and the people who matter most. Ours is a true family office, not one that refers you out because it's convenient. This kind of dedicated collaboration used to require a 7-figure net worth, but here's the game changer. Trajan kicked that door open. Trajan advisors are fiduciaries, always obligated, always honored to act in your best interest. Unlock your Trajan family office at TrajanWealth.com or call 1-855-TRAJAN-1. That's 1-855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax.
House calls? It's 2026. Doctors and lawyers don't make house calls anymore, right? Not true, actually. At 303-LAW-4040, we always tell you about how we want to meet with you in person. Now, generally that means, yes, you come and meet my lovely wife, Kimberly, and I in our Denver Tech Center offices. But sometimes you're hurt, you're seriously injured. You're either still in the hospital or you can't move around, you don't have a car yet. And it's important to get a plan in place quickly when these things happen. So we'll come out, we'll do a house call. Heck, we had one house call recently. The dog came out and took a little ride in the DeLorean. It was fantastic. I'll bring the DeLorean into the house, but we're here to help. And actually, my lovely wife, Kimberly, says that's one of the best parts of the job is when we get to spend time together in somebody's living room, helping them out as they're in a tough spot because they were injured in an accident. So if you need us, go ahead, save that number in your phone, 303-LAW-4040. That's 303-LAW-4040.
It's home selling season. And what's the biggest mistake you can make when selling your home? Settling for less money. That never happens with Orchard. Low ball offers can wear you down, causing you to settle for thousands less. You don't have to settle when you sell with an Orchard agent. Orchard reinvented the real estate industry by guaranteeing your home sale. Their local agents help you sell on market for top dollar. First, Orchard gives you cash up front to buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then, once you're settled in, your Orchard agent helps you sell your home on market for top dollar. Here's what one customer said. I went under contract within 24 hours of my home listing, which was amazing. With Orchard, you never have to settle for less. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Curious how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Where will you find her perfect engagement ring?
There's only one fine jeweler in Denver with all the world's top bridal designers. I'm Dylan Williams.
And I'm Shayna Williams from Williams Jewelers. Only here in our Bridal Design Gallery will you find Gabriel & Company, A. Jaffe, Hearts on Fire, and the legendary Takori.
Thousands of diamond engagement rings from every style and every price range.
If it's on her Pinterest page, it's here.
Add to that our famous Williams Jewelers Diamond Bar with almost every size, shape, and price range diamond.
And our expert diamond professionals will help you put it all together perfectly.
At the guaranteed best price in Colorado. We even have flexible payment terms for qualified buyers, so you can do this today.
That's why more couples say, will you, with Williams.
Where Colorado shines.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
The official jeweler
of the Colorado Avalanche. Williams Jewelers, where Colorado shines.
Hey guys, it's Mark Schlereth. I just made one of the best decisions of my life. I got rid of my glasses. I went to Cudarelli Vision and had refractive lens exchange, RLE. I wore glasses for distance vision, but I got to that inevitable point in life where I was always needing those reading glasses just to do about anything, and half the time I couldn't find them. Seeing menus, texting, reading my computer, or studying film, it was a struggle. But now I see the world perfectly, near and far, without any glasses, thanks to Cudarelli Vision RLE, the perfect permanent solution to spending your good active years not needing reading glasses. And here's the cherry on top. You'll never develop a cataract. Dr. Cudarelli is Colorado's most experienced with over 90,000 vision correction procedures. You can trust him to know if it's the right time for you and RLE. Schedule your free Zoom consultation at coloradorle.com. Cudarelli Vision, RLE, no readers, glasses, or contacts, or cataracts. coloradorle.com.
Want real Broncos talk? Cecil Lammy and Andrew Mason bring the heat on Orange and Blue Today. The most passionate intelligence and in-depth Broncos coverage in the game. Weekdays at 5 p.m. on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Hit subscribe at Denver Sports 104.3 and never miss another take. Orange and Blue Today, powered by Ramos Law, official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver Sports Station 104.3 The Fan presents Denver Sports Tonight.
Wait for it. Final segment, Denver Sports Tonight. Marcello Romano, Dante Gomez, yourselves on the RamosLaw.com text line 303-713-1043. You guys have been phenomenal on that. Let me fire off a few of these since it is the slowest day in professional sports traditionally. The ESPYs are on tonight, but we got to thinking early in the show because of last night, the nostalgic part of the All-Star game where the kids rode out on the bikes with their gloves on their handlebars, and then I got to watch Field of Dreams last night as I was going to sleep. We said, what are the best sports movies out there? Let me just rattle down a couple. If I miss any, Dante, you kind of fill in the blanks, but I got this one, Amazing Grace and Chuck, starring Alex English. The Replacements is another great football movie with Keanu Reeves. We have a texter from the 970-213 says, if it qualifies, Secretariat was a solid sports movie. I would completely agree. Seabiscuit was great as well if you want to go horse racing. Gran Turismo is another great sports racing movie. Bad News Bears, Hoosiers, Remember the Titans, The Sandlot, Hoosiers, Angels in the Outfield, Rudy, although largely fictional. I know they say it's not, but it's the reality of what happened with Rudy. It got glorified when it got to Hollywood.
Yeah, you missed. There's one on here that I think you'd be a fan of, Mr. 3000.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one.
Oh yeah. There was, what was the movie where the kid became the owner of the Minnesota Twins?
Is that Little Big
League?
I've never seen it, but I've
nice
seen
pull.
Clips. It actually looks pretty good.
That's a trivia question. You just nailed it right there. Way to go. All the Right Moves, and I'll finish up with The Natural, which I don't think you can get a better baseball movie than The Natural either.
We got a late entrance here, High School Musical. I'm not going to count that as a sports movie, but shout out my girl Vanessa Hudgens.
There you go. I'm not putting Basketball Diaries on that list either. All right, we know what the World Cup final is going to be as Argentina comes back late again to beat England today and move on to the Cup final. They will face Spain on Sunday. How are you feeling about the World Cup now as it is winding down and we get a championship on Sunday?
I think once we got to the round of 16, I think it's been a great tournament, and we've seen some upsets, and we've seen some late game dramatics in a lot of these.
Well, Argentina alone, they got 3 of them.
That's true. They're the comeback kings. But I think we got the right Final Four. I think it was the 4 best teams. France choked yesterday, which was fun to see that happen. And then England choked today, which was also fun to see. So we're going to get Messi versus Spain, which is probably the best team in the tournament if it wasn't Spain or France, and Spain took them down 2-0 pretty handily there. So it feels like we have the best possible storylines going into the championship here. I don't know if you've seen this. Have you seen the Leo Messi photo shoot from like 15, 20 years ago? Get this, Cello, and I'm pretty sure it's real. I've heard about it for weeks now. It's got to be real. Leo Messi did a promotional photo shoot for some brand like 15 years ago. There's a a infant that he's doing it with in this little like baby bath. That kid is now one of the best players on Spain's team.
No kidding.
Yeah. Like what are the chances that happened that way? So it feels like it was meant to be.
Obviously, there's not a ton of soccer movies that have been listed tonight as far as greatest sports movies of all time. Have you been satisfied with the World Cup? I don't. You're not like a massive soccer guy, but when the World Cup comes around only once every 4 years, it's kind of one of those things. If you're just a sports fan, I think most people are drawn into it, and I think this year they've had one of the most exciting World Cups that we've had. There wasn't a bunch of like 1-0 or 0-0 games. Like there was a lot of scoring. I've been pretty satisfied start to finish. Eliminating the hydration breaks would be one of my that would be my suggestion. And then the England athletic trainers, you guys don't have to wear cleats too, guys. It's just not you're not cutting to get out to an injured player.
I would say I'm more of a casual when it comes to soccer. Maybe a hater, some would call it. Me and Alex Patello got into it a little bit the other day. He was defending soccer's honor when I said that their rules are dumb. The extra time still bugs me. The flopping bugs me. Not quite enough action for watching a 90-minute game.
Yeah.
So there's some stuff like that bothers me. I wouldn't rank it in probably my top 5, maybe even top 10 sports I'd like to watch. But when it comes to the World Cup, you get the national pride involved. I think that always makes sports better. We've seen that in the Olympics, obviously. I'm not going to go out and watch MLS soccer after this tournament's done. But I'll be intrigued next time the World Cup comes around. I think it helped a lot, at least being in America, that it was in America. So the games are on at a normal time. It's not like you have to wake up at 3 a.m. to tune into any of these. So I think that helps. And I don't know. It's fine.
It's meh.
Yeah, it's better than watching some other stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's not ahead of any of the major sports, not even close to any of the major sports.
Right.
I would even put like lacrosse ahead of it, golf ahead of it. In terms of how I'd like to spend my time watching
now
the
you
sport.
ain't only going to be fighting with Boteo. You're going to be fighting with a lot of people when you say something like that. All right,
I'd rather watch golf. I'd rather watch Scotty in contention on a Sunday than watch the World Cup.
I'd probably tend to agree with you.
I'm also a believer that the
World Cup... But will you watch on Sunday?
Yes, I will watch on Sunday. I'm also a believer that the World Cup doesn't really start until the round of 16. That's when it gets interesting. I don't want to see some of the
group
smallest
stages.
countries that are terrible at soccer take on Spain or France or Argentina or even the U.S. for that matter. We beat the brakes off some of those bad teams. So give me some of the more competitive matches and I'll tune in.
You got about 40 seconds. A couple of late entries here. Ladybugs was great. Victory, the program, the Big Green, 8 Men Out, the Sixth Man. We didn't even mention Celtic Pride. Damon Wayans playing Lewis Scott when he gets kidnapped by Daniel Stern and I think Dan Aykroyd. It's another great one. We ran out of time. It's like Matt Damon on Kimmel. We got cut for time as far as who else is going to find themselves on that top 100 list. But we have next week. We can hit it then, Dante.
Yeah, I like it.
For Dante Gomez, this is Marcello Romano. You've been listening to Denver Sports Tonight on 104.3 The Fan.
Nicole